In April 2021, a 24-year-old foreign live-in maid for a family of 4 was looking for some games on the family computer to occupy the children. While doing so, she came across 30 folders, each filled with several videos of herself. In every video, she was either naked or using the toilet. All videos were taken in the bathroom, prompting the maid to engage in a search of the bathroom for cameras. She discovered a hidden camera in one of the bathroom's electrical outlets. She immediately contacted the police and pointed to Paul Gardner, the male member of her host family, as the possible perpetrator. The police arrived at the residence, collected evidence, and brought Paul Gardner in for questioning.
You got your water? Good. That's good. You want me to wear a mask?
No.
Are you sure?
Not if I can take mine off.
You can take yours off. I'm fine. Okay. Not a big mask guy. Okay, so before we start, the officers were telling me that you gave consent to look at your phone, all that kind of stuff. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to fill this out for me, just your name, type of phone it is, all that kind of stuff, I'd appreciate that. And then the sooner we do that, the sooner we can give it back to you.
And you guys took my iPad too?
I believe so, yes.
I was a little irritated about that part.
The iPad there?
Because nobody said anything to me about that. He took it out of my truck and he was looking for guns.
Just now?
Mm-hmm. Well, before we left the house, yeah. Because it was in my truck.
Oh.
And that's the only time that door was open. So I'm not bitching, I'm not complaining. It's just
Right.
like, I'm driving down here going, what the frick is my iPad? Because it's right on my console right there normally. You know, so.
Oh.
So I have my truck at Ford today, and my friend just gave me a ride over there, so I had to call him and say, hey, did I take my iPad out of your truck when I left it? He goes, yeah, you had it there. I tried to call Corwin Ford to see if they had it. And
well, I'll go double check real quick.
he says he has it.
Oh, he does?
Yes, he does.
Oh, okay.
He does. So I just was kind of freaking out.
Right.
What am I doing here? Phone?
Whatever phone. I'm sure it's Apple like everybody. You a big hunter?
Birds more than anything else.
Uh-huh.
Not as much big game, but I hunt birds a ton.
Yeah. Saw your cannon check boots, so.
Yeah. It's 080, I believe is the password on that. I'm not supposed to give that out because it's a work phone, but if you guys are just going to copy everything that's on it, I can get it back faster. That probably makes more sense for them. Sign here.
Yes, sir. Should be the 14th. And just about 7.
Yeah, I was panicking doing my taxes today. And then I realized I got
Your
another
taxes?
month.
Yeah, you got time.
Well, they extended it a month because of COVID. I didn't know that.
Right.
Ah!
Yep.
That's it, right?
Yeah, the rest is me. Cool. You bring this out to me real quick. Be right back. Yep, you're right. So they do have the iPad. So this is for computers. Same thing.
Mine was 10-5.
Now, well, Paul, I appreciate you coming down. Is it okay if I call you Paul, Mr. Gardner, or what would you like? Okay. All right. Before we get started, you're not under arrest. Okay. I appreciate you coming down. Free to go whenever you want. The door's unlocked. I can walk you out. You don't have to answer any questions, right? You don't have to do anything. Okay. Just so you know. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I do appreciate you coming down. Some things we just want to talk out with you, and then we'll just move on. All right. So, married.
Yes.
Wife's name is
Lisa.
Lisa. Okay. How long have you guys been together?
21 years.
21.
22.
22 years. How's that been?
Good.
Excellent. And kids?
2.
Boys or girls?
2 boys.
2 boys. What are their names? And you work for
Belfour.
Belfour?
Belfor.
And I've seen that around, but I'm not familiar with what is that.
We do any type of damage to buildings, we worked on this building. We've done COVID cleanings for the city of Sparks. We did the jail, Washoe County PAR. We disinfected all of that. Airport. So if there's a fire, the explosion at UNR when the door blew up, I was the 3rd person in the building.
Oh, okay.
So we do all kinds of stuff that has to do with disaster restoration.
Okay. Wow, interesting. How'd you get into that?
It's construction, and it's just a specialized part of construction. I've been in it for 20 years probably.
Wow.
So I ran real construction for 8 years and EC for 5 before that. So
nice.
Pretty stable.
That's good. Awesome. And obviously you said you like chukar hunting and stuff, right? That's cool. Hopefully we'll have a lot of birds this year.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about the hatches. I'm not getting a lot of eggs in my birds right now.
You're not?
No.
You raise birds
Mm-hmm.
for training dogs?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. What kind of dogs you have?
English setters and labs.
Oh, cool. Very good. Okay, so we're here because of some pictures that were discovered on a computer or something. Is that right?
That's what I heard, yeah.
Okay, so you have a live-in nanny?
An au pair.
Au pair. How do you spell au pair?
AUPAIR.
Okay.
An au pair is essentially a live-in maid originating from a foreign country. Au pairs typically are paid less than maids, making them particularly attractive for cost-conscious families. This is especially true when you consider that families get tax write-offs for hiring au pairs. The foreigners who work as au pairs often see the job advertised as a travel opportunity, not a way to make money. The otherwise difficult task of obtaining an American visa is taken care of by the host family and au pair agency. Essentially, the au pair jobs in the US are advertised as a way to experience American culture via living with an American family, and they come with some pocket money.
That just means they're a foreign exchange student nanny.
Oh, okay.
It's an official federal government program, so.
Oh, okay. And her name is?
Paula. She goes by Paya, but Because my name's Paul. So.
In American culture, it is rude for two people to share a name or names that sound similar.
Hey, dude, nice to meet you.
Let's get down to the baggage claim, Kyle.
Okay.
Ooh, that's right. We've got two Kyles now. We'll just call you Kyle, and you can be Kyle, too. Here we go, Kyle, too. And here's yours, Kyle.
For this reason, Paula was renamed Paya when she entered the Gardner house. At around this point, Paul's body language begins to change. Up till now, his body has been relaxed and open. Once the questioning turns to the au pair, Paul begins pacifying gestures, such as holding his own arm and tapping his foot. He also exhibits defensive postures, such as crossing his arms. While body language is never 100% reliable, a sudden change in body language does show a change in someone's behavioral baseline, implying an emotional switch. In this case, Paul is most likely becoming nervous, anxious, and defensive, along with the switch from basic banter about his life to the more serious topic of his relationship with Paula.
She,
Okay.
we're calling her by her nickname, which is Paya,
Paya.
which
Okay.
is Paya.
Okay. That's cool.
She's from Ecuador, they pronounce it differently.
She's from Ecuador?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been with her?
2 months, maybe? 6 weeks, 2 months, something like that.
Okay. And how does that work? Do you, like...
So we pay an agency fee to, they have a list of available au pairs, and you pick the ones that you have compatible personalities with and hobbies and things like that.
Mhm.
You interview them, and then when you find one that you like, and if they like you, then you both request a match through the agency, pay the agency fee, they fly them over here, then we pay them a stipend. They get room and board, and it's like 190 something a week cash, so they don't have to pay taxes on it. And I pay them $200 a week.
Okay. And then in exchange, they get to go to school at UNR? Or?
They have to take, is it 6 credits? I think 6 credits at an accredited higher education. Most of them don't do it for the education, they do it to come to America and
Sure.
be a babysitter.
Sure.
But it's a J1 visa they get, which is an education visa. So they have to take the credits to qualify for the J1 visa.
Keep the visa. Okay.
Exactly.
So 6 credits or so, whatever. Okay.
Right. And they can stay. So it's a 1-year contract,
Okay.
and then they can extend for a second year. And some of our au pairs have extended. We've had au pairs for the last 10 years.
Oh, no kidding. All right. And I'm sorry, you said Paula showed up, did you say 2 months ago?
About 2 months ago.
2
maybe
months
a little
ago.
less. Yeah.
Okay. And everything's going good with her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So,
A common sign of lying is shaking your head no while saying something in the affirmative. Watch again how deep and affirming Paul's head nodding is when he's asked about everything going well with Paula. Take special note of Paul continuing to shake his head no even after he's done talking, as if he's still thinking about Paula in a disapproving fashion.
apparently she was doing something with your sons on the computer and discovered some pictures of her. And then you giving us consent and looking through, and she gave us consent for a room and all that. It does appear that there's a camera inside the light fixture in the bathroom. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, it can't be a light fixture.
Well, no, I'm not electrical fixture. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Power.
Okay.
I'm not the construction guy. So,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I want to talk to you about.
Mm-hmm.
Who has had access to your house, or who has been in there doing any type of work, or who would have been able to install this device?
So during this time frame, my father-in-law,
Okay.
me, my kids, my wife, Paya, any one of my kids' friends, I guess my mother-in-law, technically she was there too, my father-in-law.
Father-in-law, mother-in-law.
All Paul wants to do here is to build a large universe of suspects to increase doubt and reduce focus on himself. It's obvious to the police what he's doing, but it is still a decent strategy due to the duty it puts on detectives to clear every named suspect. Of course, if the police can get an admission during the initial interview, they do not need to follow up on those names named.
How long have you guys been in this house?
About 2 years, I think.
Okay. Okay. And what kind of work were these folks doing in your house?
So, my best guess at this point is that either my father-in-law or I installed it.
Okay.
Okay. Not realizing what it was. So I have a box full of outlets.
Okay.
Probably 50 outlets in it.
Okay.
And some of them have the I'm trying to think of the term. Some of them have USB on it, USB ports on them, and some of them don't. Some of them are half-hots, some of them are switches. There's just a boatload of different types in there. And I have a bunch of security cameras.
What's a half-hot? Sorry to interrupt.
I'm using that term wrong. Half-hot is actually an outlet that only the top half is always hot and the bottom half is controlled by a switch. That's a half-hot.
Okay.
Like a half switch, where it's got an outlet and a switch on it.
Okay.
Combined in one.
Okay.
So just a bunch of different types of those outlets.
Okay.
But I also have a bunch of security camera stuff.
Right.
So my father-in-law's been installing security cameras for me on the property. I have cameras all over the property, trail cameras and things like that. I have some motion-activated cameras that come from, we bought a bunch of them for work when we were having a bunch of stuff stolen from some employee. We never did figure out who it was. I think I know who it was because we fired him and the problem stopped. But we had put a bunch of little cameras around trying to figure out who was stealing. There's still a lot of, we have tens of thousands of dollars of equipment back there that was disappearing. And I'm assuming that one of those got installed. Now how, because I'm leaning toward the kids.
Okay.
But I don't know how they would have known to get anything off of it. Yeah.
Right. Why do you think the kids, have you caught them doing stuff in the past?
I've caught them on porn stuff all the time. They're boys.
Sure.
Their friends are always. You like to think it's always your kids' friends, but I'm sure my kids are doing it too.
Sure. I have children of my own, so yeah. I understand what you're saying. Kids on porn, kids' friends, right? Which out of the two boys, would you suspect?
Sadly, the younger one.
The younger one? Right, okay.
Either or.
Why do you pick him?
He's a little rebel.
Right.
He just is. He's a wonderful, wonderful kid. Everybody loves him to death. But because of his personality, he gets away with murder, does anything he wants. And he's the much more curious of the two. TJ is much more technically savvy, so I could certainly see him do that. And he spends a crazy amount of time in that bathroom. But he's a teenage boy who knows what he's doing on his phone.
Sure.
Paul's story of having a tech-savvy teenage son who's very curious, rebellious, and spends a lot of time in the bathroom would be a reasonable one if it were not for the fact that he does not have a teenage son. Paul does have two sons. One is 11 years old. That's the older son. The son Paul is currently attempting to pin this crime on, while laughing lightheartedly, is 9 years old. Yet Paul refers to him as a teenager. Paul seems to think that the police do not have access to the ages of his children.
But he spends a crazy amount of time in that bathroom.
Okay.
Lisa's noticed it. I've noticed it. We've all noticed it.
Okay.
But he's pretty much a rule follower too. So, like my very best friend in the world's kids are total rebels, and I could absolutely see them doing something crazy like this.
Right.
Luke and Jake are. insane. The Opio boys parents are going through a horrible, nasty divorce, so they're a little crazy right now. I don't know. There's,
Right.
teenage boys are tough.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So if it came down to it and I had to, that'd be okay?
You have to talk to their mom.
Okay.
I'm okay with it if their mom's okay with it, but I don't think she will be.
Okay, well, we're not there yet right now, so we still have a lot to do. So, but what you're saying is it's not you.
I don't know how computer. We've only had that thing it's only been hooked up for a month. I don't know if it's been hooked up for a month. I bet I haven't been on that thing 3 times. 2, maybe.
Which?
That's the only computer in the house now.
Okay.
Did
I see it? Was it in?
I'm assuming. I kind of glanced over at it, and I think the CPU was missing. I think you guys have already grabbed that. If you guys took it. I just looked at when we were upstairs, and I didn't see it, but the drawer could have been slid back. It would have been in the loft upstairs. It's the only computer in the house.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But I bought it for the kids for Christmas as a gaming computer. That's
sure.
what I bought. So I refer to it as TJ's because it's TJ's Christmas present.
Okay.
And if they found something on a computer, that's the only place they could have found it.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. So, but you're saying it's not you, but you have a strong kind of suspicion maybe one of the kids.
Man, I just can't even imagine if my father-in-law's involved in it.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about him.
I just said that man is the most honest, church-going, rock-solid. No.
Okay. What's his father-in-law's name?
Ernie.
Ernie. Last name.
Carpenter. But he does most of the wiring in the house for me.
Okay.
He's upgraded most of the smoke detectors, installed. So we have a lot of high-tech stuff in the house. All the lights in the house are all connected to HomeKit. You turn the lights on and off with your voice.
Oh wow.
So he's done a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
He's installed a bunch of light switches for me. Some of them are like this. He's installed a bunch that I've taken out, and I've installed a bunch that he's taken out. That's part of the problem is every time he comes over, we're both swapping things around, trying to make this system work.
Yeah.
Because he's a retired electrical engineer. He was the head of the electrical engineering department at Chico State for his career, but he's retired now. And a big part of his job was wireless camera installations. So that's what he did. So he would set up like the remote classrooms in Lassen County for Chico State.
Okay.
All that kind of stuff. So he's been putting up. So I have a network that beams directly from my property, from my house over to the property, and then redistributes on 5 megahertz and 2.4 megahertz system. But we've been every time he comes over, we're swapping all that stuff out because we're trying to make it work better. So we've upgraded the antennas and we've upgraded the units, and I have 4 cameras for that unit. And so we're getting those all set up and those automatically recorded DVR stuff. But he does most of that because it's kind of over my head.
Right.
I can figure it out, but it's going to take me forever to do.
Sure.
And it's his bailiwick, so
yeah,
he does a lot of that. So he runs all the wiring for that stuff. He ran wiring to the computer. When he was over around Christmas, he ran the network cables and stuff over to where the computer's going to go.
When's the last time you guys were swapping out outlets and switches and stuff?
Well, before Christmas, he did a bunch of work. 2 weeks ago, he did a bunch of work. A 5 weeks ago. They come over like every 3 or 4 weeks. And they'll stay for a week.
Oh, wow, okay.
Because they normally, and until we had Pi, because we had a break between the au pairs because of COVID, couldn't get any au pairs, they normally stayed in that downstairs bedroom where Paya is and use that bathroom. That was normally their bathroom in their bedroom.
Okay. So 2 weeks ago, about 5 weeks ago, and then before Christmas, when you guys were working on switching stuff out and all that?
Yeah, right at Christmas.
For the most recent.
Exactly.
Okay. But you don't think it's the father-in-law? I mean, how
Unless he was changing something out and just swapped it for a different one. Mm-hmm. Like I said, he could have grabbed the wrong one out of the box.
Right.
He could have just, because I've had him install those the USB outlet ones. Mm-hmm. I've had him install those in the kitchen. So what happens is he comes over and he doesn't have anything to do. He's bored. right? Comes over to see the kids. Kids are in school during the day. So I just give him a list of stuff to do. Hey, can you install this for me? Can you install this for me? We'll be working on that. If you get bored, install the outlet over here. So I just give him stuff to do. So he installed an outlet for me to plug in my truck when it gets cold in the winter. He's installed outlets all over the place upstairs. He's installed outlets and switches for the electronic stuff we're doing. Mm-hmm. So he does it all the time. And quite frankly, for me to swap out one of those outlets, it's going to take me a minute and a half. It's going to take him a minute and a half. We both do it all the time, and I don't even turn the power off. He doesn't either. We're both used to working with that stuff. So my point is that either one of us could have swapped something back and forth.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. You've never been in trouble before, have you?
I'm pretty sure my record is 100% spotless.
Nice. Okay, I'd like to hear that.
I think I've had 2 speeding tickets.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool.
Don't make sure you put a junior behind that, though.
Which one?
My name.
Oh.
Because if you get my dad's record.
Oh, yeah?
He's been in about 8 different prisons.
Oh, wow. Okay. What did he get in trouble for, if you don't mind me asking?
Stealing, and stealing. He has broken out of 7 prisons, too.
Okay.
That's his hobby.
Wow. Is he still...
No, he took a bad fall off of a roof last time in construction, fell 3 stories, broke everything from like here down. So he's kind of hobbled up, and he lives with his girlfriend on our Indian reservation, living off of her stipend. I'm not my dad's biggest fan.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anyways, but if you do run my name, it happened when I got my CCW.
Okay.
It came up.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure to make a note of that so we don't get confused. So, okay. So let me I want to ask you some personal stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Do you enjoy porn? Do you watch porn?
Not very much. Yeah, I'll look at scantily clad girls on Instagram.
Sure.
But
right.
It's not really. If people send me stuff, links to it, I very rarely click on it.
Okay. So. All right. And your wife, Lisa, you said everything's great. Is there any issues with you guys let's be real, that's a long time to be together, and, we're human, right?
We're fine.
Okay.
We're fine.
No issues? Okay. Good. I'd like to hear it. So, okay. So is there anything else I should know, about any of this? Is it surprising that this is in here, or?
What I'm surprised about is that she didn't assume it was the boys, frankly.
Paul thought that Paula would assume the boys installed the camera. Yet, he doesn't stop to consider that Paula, an au pair, probably knows his sons better than Paul himself knows, at least as concerns to the boys' day-to-day processes and thoughts. Upon discovering the hidden camera, Paula's accusation was immediately aimed at Paul. A woman spending the majority of her days around 2 boys is likely to be well aware as to whether one of these boys has some sort of interest toward her. Likewise, she has probably noticed the gazes and social cues from her male employer. Paula's first instinct, then, probably has some sort of objective weight in determining the culprit.
Considering that she knows them, is around them all the time,
right?
I think she probably escalated this. I don't know. I haven't been on the receiving end of what she's going through, so I don't know.
Right, exactly. So we'll figure it out, right? Okay. Well, let me take a quick break. Can you water anything, or?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay, I'll be right back with you. Okay, sir. Thanks.
You can tell he's thinking really deeply about this. In fact, I've never seen such deep thinking in my life, quite honestly. He's even talking under his breath. That's how hard he's thinking. Paul is so deep in thought, he doesn't even notice the detective enter the room. You can tell this guy is really trying to help these detectives solve this case.
Okay, thanks for waiting. You still good?
Yeah.
Okay. Get you out of here super quick. So just come quick call. You alright?
Holy crap.
Yeah, down the wrong pipe?
Yes.
So the boy's password, you said you've only been on like 3 times. It was a Christmas present. They use it for gaming.
Yeah.
Do you have a password for it, or they have a password for it?
We're all just using the same one. Through 3142, I believe, is the one that's on there.
Okay, and that's for you guys? Everybody uses that?
Yeah. On our old computer that we used to have, I had different passwords set up for everybody. It's just like a network type computer, so you all log in differently. Just so your desktop screen didn't change every time. You know,
Sure.
You could set up your icons however you wanted to. I never bothered doing it with this one because the kids are the only ones that use it.
Okay, so no one has their own individual.
No.
Okay.
It's the same one for everybody right now, as far as I know.
Okay.
Unless somebody else has set something up on there. I guess Lisa or Paya could have set something up on there, but I'm not aware of it if they did.
Okay, right. Okay, and then, so either you or your father-in-law installed that camera. You don't know for sure, though?
I'm assuming it was one of the two of us. I'm sure that, I mean, based on the picture that I was shown, I know I handled what he's talking about, but it looks, it looks like all the other ones that I have,
Right.
Similar to all the other USB type and dual switch ones. And I mean, it could have been any of 9 that I would have grabbed out of a box.
Right.
So.
But you don't know either way.
I don't recall. I know that I pulled everything that was in there out because I was looking for power. Because what we're doing is that bathroom doesn't have an exhaust fan. And we used to live in this exact same house down the street.
Okay.
When we first moved to where we bought the property, we moved into a rental right next to the property, and it was this exact same floor model. And I hated it because the au pair we had then used to take really long showers. And the whole bathroom got moldy and stuff. So I was going to install a humidistatically controlled exhaust fan that would turn on whenever the humidity was high.
Okay.
But I couldn't find power for it. So last year I tried to find power upstairs in any of the bedrooms to try and come from above to hook it up. And I couldn't. So when we were switching au pairs, I thought, well, I'll get that thing installed.
Okay.
So I had opened that cavity up to try and see if there was power going up. I couldn't find power going where I needed to go that way either.
When was that?
So that would have been, it was between when Jaden was here and before Paya got here, so it could have been 5 or 6 months ago, maybe.
Was Jaden the previous au pair?
He was the previous au pair, yeah.
Was it he?
Yes.
Okay.
I might have done it before Jaden. I think I originally did it before Jaden was here too.
Paula seems to have realized that if he says he installed the camera when his au pair was male, it will remove the sexual motive from the accusation. Unfortunately for Paul, the onus is on him at this point, as the video files recovered from the hidden camera were all of Paula, not of his previous au pairs.
So, because Jaden was only here for about 6 weeks.
Okay.
So I think I did it before. So our big break was when Renata left. So Renata left right as COVID started. She left in April, but because of COVID, we couldn't get any new visas. When Trump locked down the visas,
right,
we couldn't get any new au pairs. Nobody could come into the country. So we had a long break between Renata and Jaden. Jaden already had his, he got his issue like 3 days before, but South Africa had a lockdown where they wouldn't fly planes out to the United States.
Okay.
So he was stuck in South Africa for like 5 months while we were waiting for him.
That's Jaden.
Correct.
Okay.
So yeah, so it was installed. I'm pretty sure it was installed between that, when Renata was after Renata left and before Jaden got here.
Where's Renata from?
She's from Mexico.
Well, it's got to be cool to have these people from all over the world coming in.
It's been great for the kids.
Yeah, for sure. So, cool. Okay, have you had any problems with your au pairs? Any complaints?
Yeah, there's always ups and downs.
Like what?
So Jaden left. He was only here for 6 weeks.
Okay.
He left because it was too hard on him to have to watch the boys feed the animals. Yeah, exactly.
You have, like, goats and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. What happens is they find an excuse because they want to go. So they come over here. This happens all the time. If you're in the au pair community, you know this happens all the time. They come over here they get what they think is an easy family, get over here, stay with them for a couple of weeks, and then they find an excuse to rematch. Because once you're here, it's easy to rematch.
Oh, I see.
So then they couldn't originally get placed with somebody in LA or San Francisco or New York City, which is where they all want to be, but they get here in the US, and then they'll find an excuse to rematch, and then it's really easy to find. So that's exactly what he did. He's in San Francisco.
I see.
He lives in a high-rise penthouse in San Francisco. Yeah.
Okay.
Good gig for him.
Right. But as far as like said the animals, but any complaints against you or your wife or anything specific, anything bad happened with them?
I mean, we had one au pair who was literally insane. She had nightmares about my wife and I killing her and burying her in the desert. That was her excuse. She subsequently changed families 4 more times in the next year. So she was just hopping across the country. Those are our only 2 rematches.
Okay. So that would have been, who's that one? Renata?
No, that was 8 years ago. Was it Felicity, I think?
Felicity?
Yeah.
Where's she from?
Sweden.
She was crazy, huh?
The Swedes are very, very known for au pair hopping. They do it a ton. So you can go, when you're in the au pair agency stuff, you can go in and see who's rematching. So if you're in a rematch or if your au pair is leaving and you need to find one quicker, you look for a rematch. Because then you'll got to go through all the visa process. So you can see who's rematching. There's always 10 times more Swedes than everything else. It's like a known thing in Sweden. You want to go tour the United States, become an au pair, and then just switch families a bunch of times.
I had no idea.
So,
okay.
But yeah, so we've had Michelle. We had no problems with Michelle. She stayed with us for 2 years. Carla stayed with us for 2 years. Quite frankly, if you talk to any of them, they will all have the same complaint. My wife is sometimes a bitch.
Oh.
That will be the complaint
That's
you
the main
get
complaint?
from all of them. 100%. She's just very demanding about what she wants and expects out of them, and she's passive aggressive about it when she comes home and they haven't done all their chores and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, they are there for a reason.
So. Yeah, it's a job.
Sure.
Come over for a job.
Sure. Okay. So no other real problems with them. So you're not sure about that. Okay. Your cell phone's not quite done yet. Did you want to wait for it? Or?
I would appreciate it if I could.
Yeah, totally can. Yep, 100%.
Well, I'm late for the game now, so it doesn't really matter at this point.
Right.
So I might as well wait for some.
Oh, and then the Look Cam Pro. Have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
It's a app that monitors wireless cameras.
Okay.
But like I said, I have all over my property.
Sure. No, I get it.
I have my work, so.
Okay. Do your boys have phones?
My oldest does.
Yeah.
They all have Apple Watches, though.
Okay.
So they have apps and stuff on their watches.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I'll have to check into that stuff. Wait for cell phone. Okay, we'll do that downstairs. And I think one more thing. If we needed to, would you be up for a lie detector polygraph test?
Yeah, I don't have much faith in them, but yes.
Okay. Why don't you have faith in them?
I know people who have lied on them, for
You
sure.
did?
Absolutely. My cousin got hired by Reno PD. I absolutely knew that there's only way he did it was lying and getting away with it.
Oh, really?
I grew up with him. Yes.
You got some dirt on him, huh?
Absolutely. Tons of it. The only time I've ever been in handcuffs was that asshole's fault when we were kids.
Right.
Yeah, he just retired from Reno PD for 25 years on the force.
Oh, okay.
Like December. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, no. He passed it. I don't trust those things at all.
Gotcha. All right. Well, yeah, we'd have to arrange it at a different time, so because obviously not everyone's here tonight. So, but that's all I really got for you. So, if you have any questions for me?
No, this will play out however it plays out.
Right.
I don't have any control over it.
Exactly. So.
I mean, just the accusation. My career is over.
Why is it over?
Because if I get arrested for this, I will never pass another background check for what we do.
Right.
We have really high clearance stuff.
Oh, I see.
I'm done. My 25-year career is done.
See. Well, are you concerned about being arrested for it?
No, I'm concerned about losing my career. I mean, things happen, you know.
Right.
If somebody decides that, well, let's see where this goes,
right,
I'm done. That's all it's going to take.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm paranoid.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, it's taken me a long time to get to this point in my life.
Right. I understand. Hard work. But listen, if it's not you, that's what we're here to prove, right?
I just don't know how we prove who did it if it's one of the kids. You know, I don't know what your technical people can do. So maybe it's gonna be super easy for them to do. I don't know.
Right, and that's not me. We have a whole other crew that does all that stuff. So,
right.
Yeah, okay. Well, like I said, we'll do our thing and we'll let you know what's going on.
Right.
If we need a polygraph, I'll call you and we'll schedule it. You know.
And again, I guess the reason I'm feeling very scared is first thing I did was get out of your truck and guys grabbing me by the arms and frisking me. You know, I'm like, okay, clearly there's some assumption here.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I agree. So, okay. I'm not sure how long your phone will be, but I will walk you downstairs. And unless you want to sit in here, the chairs downstairs are way more comfortable. But
they're all taped off.
What's that?
No,
you can sit there. Yeah,
okay.
Totally. So we'll get you down there, and then that's it.
All right.
Go grab a business card so you have my card, okay?
Okay.
Gardner ultimately did lose his career and 5 years of his life. He was sentenced to 1,456 days in prison. On a final note, if you're making a decent enough income to where your bank account balance is always positive, but you're not investing your money, you're hurting your future self. Inflation is going to destroy many people's wealth over the coming years, but it doesn't have to happen to you. Put your money to work for you with stock and options. After I started this YouTube channel, I've been trading a lot less than before. Whereas before I was trading every day, now I only make trades of the highest conviction. In the last 90 days, all of my trades have been winners. If you wish to join me, visit the link below. When you sign up, you'll receive an email every time I plan to open a trade. Just copy what I do, and you don't need to spend any time researching investments. I'll even help you get your trading account set up if you don't have one already. You should check out the link below for sure.